curious if you, considering what we're seeing now that the baseball season has started, away from upper management and the coaching staff, as a leader of the team, have you started taking control or taking command with your teammates and letting them know that, hey, we need to stay safe, whatever your communication is, and making them aware of how serious this is, since there is no bubble?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with football, it's hard to, put, 80 guys on each roster in just one place, that would be tough. So we're trying to do it the best that we can. And this is what, our CBA, the owners and the PA, that's what we've come up with. And so we're doing our best. We're trying to make the best out of a very tough situation. We know that football can bring, some hope to people. I know when the basketball game started, the baseball game, I've been watching Aaron Judge hit bombs every day. It's when sports are on, it just, it's a good feeling, to be able to watch something and cheer for somebody. So we understood that we're going to do our best to be able to play and do all those things, but we got to be as safe as possible. I have a pregnant wife. A lot of these guys have family members with, high risk conditions, as do I. There's some family members I won't be able to see until after the season. And that's tough. This is a weird situation, never seen before, but we're trying our best every chance I get. I got hand sanitizer. I'm washing my hands. I got my mask on. Whatever they're telling us to do, we're just trying to do our best at it. Whether you agree with this or don't agree with that, it doesn't matter. We're trying to make it the best out of this situation, because we feel like we have a special group and we want to put that on display.
This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated, and these are unprecedented times, as you mentioned. So what are some creative ways, as the leader of this team, that you've used to build camaraderie among the guys, and just things that never had to do before?
Yeah, it's been nuts. We didn't have any OTAs. We didn't have any phase one. So usually phase one, first day you come in, it's like the first day of school. Everyone's like, hey, nice shoes, nice to see you again. You picked me off, Demarius Randall, a couple times. You joke around and you get to laugh and build those relationships. Well, we didn't have that. So as a leader, someone who's been around this place for a while, I know the importance of that stuff. And if we want to get to where we want to go, there's some guys that we've added that we needed to spend time with. So, we had, everyone that had already been tested and that was safe and all these kind of things, we would invite them to our house within the guidelines of our Clark County here or wherever we're at. It's not Alameda anymore, so I got to start remembering these things. But all of those things, we tried to, have barbecues, pull basketball. We tried to, play football, throw the ball to each other from distance, being safe as possible, hand sanitizer, washing our hands, all that kind of stuff. So we still spent time together, but we just had to do it in a weird kind of different way. So, but I will say I'd be shocked if any team did more than us.
Derek, it's Josh Schubau. Just wondering, Ole just talked about how he wanted you to be create more things, be more creative this year, when plays break down, things like that. How do you go about working on that? Is that a mindset, or is it something you drill? What's the process of doing that?
There's a lot of things. Good to see you, Josh. Always good to see you
too, Derek.
It's one of those things that you just gotta work on all the time. It's one of them things that I say when before Coach Gruden got here, I barely did it. I'm gonna sit in the pocket. I'm gonna sit here and these reads are gonna beat you. And my arm's gonna beat you. And then he came in, and the first year was a struggle, just trying to figure out how to, move and run around in the pocket. Then last year happens, and we're running more touchdowns. We're getting more first downs with my legs. We're winning football games with me scrambling. So the arrow is trending up. So it's a good thing. But we want to still do more. Like, my job is always to do more. So I bet you do drills, Josh, like I set people up and I work a progression, then I scramble. And that's my conditioning that I would do all off season. I'm scrambling, just creating plays, making guys do different things, getting the feel for how they break and stuff like that. So it's always something that you want to work on. But first and foremost, I'm going to try and my progression, all these kind of things. But what's nice, being in this offense for the third year, like, you can move through it even fast. I thought last year was fun. Man, this year is even more fun. Like, how fast I can get through things and then hit it and go, and go get a first down. It's like the way that I'm able to do that, and it's just a luxury being in the same system. You know, this league nowadays is, you know, especially for young quarterbacks, man, you're in and you're out. Like, you got a new coach, you got new this, and everyone's trying to get new everything all the time. Whereas this is my third year with Gru and Ole, and second year with Johnny Moe in the room, and just we're talking the same language. We're moving through the same things all the time to where I could play even faster, which we did some really good things last year.
Derek, it's Ed Graney from the Review Journal. You know, Greg also talked about competition in the room, how every position raises it. Can you speak to how much that would mean having Marcus in that room, and what you thought about when you knew he was coming?
Yeah, so we knew I knew a lot longer before y'all. You know, Marcus I've known him since college. We've been know each other. We got mutual friends, teammates, all that kind of stuff. Me and Marcus get along great. You know, we always have. After we play each other, we always talk to each other. It's weird. We broke our ankle like literally on the same day, if I'm not mistaken, a couple years ago, and all that kind of stuff. It's like weird, like crazy things that kind of link you together, and like former teammates and stuff like that. But yeah, all the time. Like, we are. I'll tell you one thing. In our quarterback group, you have to compete. That's what I do. You guys, anybody who's around me, all I'm going to do is compete. I've had multiple starters in the NFL come in here and be in the same room as me. You can go through the list about who's started games and who's been in our quarterback room. It happens all the time. But when you go 7-9, people like to make up stuff.
Derek, you've thrown to a lot of receivers during your time as the Raiders quarterback, but have you ever thrown to anyone as physical and with the size that Bryan Edwards has? What has he shown you in these first few days of walkthrough?
Yeah, Bryan is very violent route runner, and that's a good thing. He's very violent. He's very aggressive in his cuts, in and out of his cuts. He's someone, he reminds me, when the ball's in the air, of Devontae. Great ball skills, you know. Devontae, Anthony knows, he watched all those games, man. You know, Devontae's someone where it was just a trust that I could throw it up one-on-one, and them 50-50 balls were 98-2 for us, you know. And the 2 meaning something fluke happened and his shoe fell off, you know. And like our goal line offense at Fresno State was throw a fade, you know. When Crabtree was here, it was our goal line offense was hand it off or throw a fade to Crab, you know. And he reminds me of that kind of guy, you know, someone who can not only use his physicalness in the route, but also when the ball is in the air. Some of those catches you watch him run, he runs a double post, he runs a fade against Tennessee, he runs a double post at home at South Carolina. You know, some of these things that I watched him on film do before the draft, you sit there and you're like, bro, this guy, you could tell, like, this dude is a freak talent. Like, why is he not talked about in the first round, kind of a thing? And then you hear about the injuries and all that kind of stuff, and then you're like, okay, well, good for us, you know. So you get a guy in that room. But I remember Gru telling me, you know, he said, look, I like this guy and I like this guy. And the 2 guys he said that he liked, the next day we drafted both of them. So it was pretty impressive how that worked out.
Hey Derek, Levi Damien from USA Today Sports. Greg Olson mentioned specifically the improvements the team needs to make in the red zone. What can you do to improve how the Raiders play in the red zone?
Yeah, Levi, I think we did a great job of moving the ball, right? I don't think anyone can deny that. We were 10th or 11th in offense, right? But all that means nothing if we can't finish the drive, right? And that's what we're talking about, is inside the 5-yard line. I fumbled one, was it the Packers? The Packers game. I fumbled one. We got stopped on the one. We had another one in Denver where we think he's in. Well, he's not in. We run another play. We get stopped. That's us as a unit, man. Like we're taking it very seriously. And when you get a collective group of guys, so we played the first year, we played the second year. Now this year, coach is like, these are the emphasis, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then he's grilling at us on us all day. And you got a group of guys, an offense, a team that you challenge us. We're going to go work our tail off to fix it. You know, it's been my whole career. You know, Gru, every year Gru's been here, he gives me something new to work on, and sure enough, it shows up because we work on it. And so it's another thing. I think we continue to move the ball like we have, being efficient in the pass game like we are, being efficient in the run game like we've been, but being able to finish those drives in the red zone is going to be a big emphasis for us all training camp.
Hey Derek, I just wanted to ask, yesterday Mark Davis released a letter saying that there'll be no fans in the stadium this season. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, playing in front of, an empty arena. And then two, was there any decision made, were you even thinking about opting out this year? Several players have said that they thought about it. Others have said it didn't even cross their mind. Just your take on opting out this season?
Yeah, so two-part there, right? One was the fans. Mr. Davis, he came out yesterday, right? Yesterday and said there won't be any fans. And I think he said before a couple weeks ago it'd be all or none, right? So I don't know what the discussions were. I just stick to my job, right? I don't know what those discussions were, but I know that if he couldn't have everybody, he probably didn't feel right saying, well, you guys can come, but you guys can't, right? And I think he's just trying to be as fair and keep everyone as safe as possible. It's a tough decision. I mean, I don't think we can fault anybody if they opt out, if they don't opt out, if they say fans, if they don't say fans. I mean, everyone's trying to do their best, and we're obviously we're human. We're going to see mistakes along the way, but I think Mr. Davis is trying to do his very best to protect our fans, protect the workers at the stadium, protect the players. He's trying to do his best for everybody. So I commend him for that. Part two of that was, did I think about opting out? When this thing came up, I did not. I have a lot to prove to myself. I have a lot to prove to my organization. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
Hey, Derek, Cassie Soto with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Just want to ask, the practices that you set up in the off-season here at local parks, how much do you think that really helps set up team chemistry, and especially getting the rookies involved ahead of training camp?
Yeah, Cassie, I think it's a great thing. There are some rookies that if we didn't run those practices, they probably wouldn't have played this year, and if they did, it would have been later in the season. I think we're going to be able to get some play out of them, get some minutes out of them, so to speak, in basketball terms, that we probably wouldn't have gotten out of them if we didn't do that. It's just, training camp happens. The vets are back. There's only so many reps to go around, and especially with a shortened training camp, there's only so much time to get ready for this season. So we're really getting ready for our first game. We're trying to figure out who's going to play with us on that first game. There's no preseason and all these kind of things. So being able to do that, I'm telling you, like I said before, if any team did more than us, I would be completely shocked, and I probably wouldn't believe it.
Derek Boston with the Review-Journal. You mentioned year three in John Gruden's offense, but also it's year three under the reconstruction of the roster with John Gruden and Mike Mayock. And as you've seen these guys, when you're out there practicing at the local parks, now here in the building, are you sensing a higher level of talent around you when you talk about the Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards and Josh Jacobs and Darren Wallers and guys like that?
Yeah, it's good to see you, Vincent. It's when we break the huddle, it just it feels different. Okay, when we break the huddle, it's like, oh wow, oh wow, what do you want to stop? Because you want to play this, we're going to do that. You want to do this, we're going to do that. And also at the same time, we're just going to take this from you, and we have some firepower, we have some things. Everyone's healthy. That's a big point right there. Everyone's healthy. We gotta beat this virus, right? We have to beat this virus because we've seen what happens when people get hurt, and we're scrambling to find that position. We're scrambling to find it. Trust me, y'all know it makes things tough, right? Not only on myself, but on the coaches. We're trying our best to figure things out. If we can stay healthy, we can crush the virus. We can dominate those things. I'm very, very excited to be able to go put on display what I think we're going to be able to do, Vincent. I'm not going to say much more than that. We have to go prove it. But when I break the huddle, no matter what personnel group we're in, I'm really excited.
Hey, Derek, it's Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. I know you said you're kind of tired of being disrespected, something that you said earlier. What is it that you, as an individual, what are you trying to show this season? What is it that you need to prove people wrong about this season?
Oh, yeah. Tashawn, good to see you. It's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about just going and getting that Super Bowl trophy with my teammates. It has nothing to do with anybody outside, but on the inside, we just want to hold that trophy. Because what I'm tired of, the hype machine that sometimes the NFL can be, right? Like I played way better last year than I did in 2016. Yet all we do is talk about that. Well, we won 12 games, so yay! Oh, everyone's excited. Like that stuff. I'm done with all that stuff. So you can say good stuff, like I said, you can say bad stuff. I think you can sense it in the last probably year or so. I just don't care anymore. You say whatever you want. I'm trying to go win this Super Bowl so we can hang one of these banners in this beautiful indoor that we got. And then I want to go try and do it again. And then I want to go try and do it again until I'm too old or they kick me out of this place. Like I just don't care about any of that stuff anymore. You know, as soon as we go and win 12 games, Darren Waller is going to be top 10 on the NFL list, as he should have been this year. You can't tell me there's 95 better players than Darren Waller as he walks by right here. Like you can't. I just won't believe it. How's Rodney Hudson not on there? How's Trent Brown, the best right tackle in all of football, not on that list? You know. So it's this hype machine. As soon as we start winning, everyone's mad and ratings go up. Shocker. You know, it's like I'm tired of all that kind of stuff, and I'm not playing those games anymore. And honestly, I'm happy that we're doing it this way. Like I just get to come in here and work with my guys every day. And if we win, awesome, great. We're going to keep grinding. I'm just going to stay true to what I do.
Jerry?
Hey, Derek, how you doing?
Hey, Jerry, good to see you. I don't see you, but it's good to hear your voice.
Hey, you know, last time we talked to you in Alameda, you talked about how you were looking forward for a change of scenery. I was wondering how the transition to Las Vegas has gone for you, and whether this is kind of like the best of both worlds. It's like a new start, but also with the same system for the third year.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's weird, man. It's bittersweet because I'm a California kid, right? Fresno born, you know, lived in Houston a little bit, so I got a little Texas in me. But, you know, I lived in Bakersfield, and so I'm used to California. So when I had to move away, I was like, dang, I thought I was going to live in California again for the rest of my life, you know. But we moved to all places, Nevada, UNLV, sorry, Paul, UNLV, the Wolfpack, all those things. Those aren't friends to me, but now I guess they have to be, right? So it was a little weird moving here, but now that we've gotten here, it's really this like college atmosphere here in Vegas. It's a small town kind of feel to it, where everybody knows everybody. They're like, yeah, down on St. Rose, yeah, we got this little spot over here, and you start like connecting the dots, and your neighbor owns that right there, and he's, you know, it's everybody knows each other, and it's kind of cool, you know. Whereas in the Bay, everyone could be like 2 hours apart. Like getting people together is like really tough to do as a football team. Whereas here, the farthest guy from me is like 20 minutes away. You know, and that's the farthest drive. And we feel like now that we moved here, now we're all upset about a 20-minute drive to go to his house, right? But I think that I miss California. I miss the Bay. I miss the friends that my kids had. I know that they miss them and all that kind of stuff. And transitioning into life in Nevada and Las Vegas for my family. But to say football-wise, we're pumped up. You know, the city, it has that like Fresno State small town feel to it again, where they're just excited about having a team. The way that they receive the Golden Knights here, the way that you know that went, the way that they sell that out, and you know we're excited. The buzz around town, everywhere. Every time I go to the gas station, I mean, I get little kids running up and just wearing your jersey and all this kind of stuff. They find out what park you're throwing at, and they just stand there and they just want to watch because they're just so blown away that there's an NFL team here. It's just a different atmosphere. We're not sharing a city, you know, with 3 or 4 different professional sports teams. We're here, the Knights are here, and we're just rolling. You know, and football and hockey are, you know, drastically different. So everyone just looks at it different. So it's just an exciting time, you know, for football in this town because everywhere we go, everyone's just excited.
We got 4 more guys: Josh, Vic, Levi, and Paul.
You talked about how you feel you played better last year than you did in 2016. You talked some of the guys you have around you, the Wallers, the Trent Browns, the Hudsons, Josh Jacobs, guys like that. What's it going to take to get the scoring back to where it was at the under 20 points 3 years in a row? What do you need to do to get the scoring back to where it was maybe 2015, 2016?
It comes down to what I think Levi would, Levi's face went away. Levi was talking about. It's the red zone scoring. It's the red zone scoring. He popped back up in the shadows. I like it. You know, it comes down to the red zone scoring. We moved the ball more efficiently, more explosively, all those kind of things. It's going to come down to the red zone scoring. We can all watch it, we can all talk about it, and hopefully we're talking about like the improvements because we moved the ball like crazy against defenses we shouldn't have moved the ball against, so to speak, if you look at numbers, right? but it all comes down to you take those possessions that we didn't finish inside the 2-yard line, and we get 3 points, we get 6 points. You look at the scores, how drastically different our scoring points per game is, and we didn't do it, so it doesn't count. We have to finish those, Josh, honestly. It comes down to the inside, that tight red zone scoring, we have to finish with touchdowns inside of there. Has to be better, has to. And that starts with me taking care of the ball, and it starts with me getting us in the right play at all times.
So, Derek, this offseason being what it is, where there's been really no offseason practices and no rookie minicamp in particular, and having to cut that roster for 90 to 80 players and everything like that, seems like it would be the most hard on these undrafted guys that are trying to make the team, kind of like Keelan Doss did last season. What are your thoughts been on the struggles that they're having to go through right now?
Yeah, Levi, I'm glad someone's talking about that, because it's not fair, if we're being honest. Like it's tough, but that's life, you know. Like, life is not fair. Life is tough sometimes, and some of these guys, they're not going to get the reps that they used to get. You know, here they will. You know, I'm talking generally in the NFL, right? Here we get so many reps that they're going to be seen. You know, they're going to make sure here that they see everybody and what they're capable of doing. But without preseason games, you know, without all that extra playing time, because what in the last 2 years, what did the starters play in the preseason? We played a series maybe. And so that's a lot of game time reps that these guys, Keelan Doss, got to put on film. I mean, what the show that he put on in Green Bay, you know, or in wherever we were, in Winnipeg, you know, in Canada on a 40-yard field, right? The show that he put on there, you know, it was unbelievable. And then you're like, oh wow, this kid can play. And then he makes a big time dagger catch for us against the Packers. He catches a little hitch route against Kyle Fuller, who's a pretty good corner, you know. And I can go on and on about that, but you think about like these undrafted guys like Jalen Richard, right? You think about Jalen Richard, like, what if he just came in and we have a stable full of backs like we did that year, and it's like, oh, well, I guess he's not going to make it, you know? It's really tough to be able to tell. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on some people's practice squads. If they can hide somebody, if people are stealing from practice squads because they know something, it'll be fun to watch that, I guess, more for you guys and for us, I guess. But it's going to be really weird to watch that dynamic play out, because I don't know if there'll be as much stealing, because you won't be able to, you know, have film to go off of. So you don't even know if the guy can play. So it'll be an interesting dynamic with this season for sure.
Hey, Derek, what changes are you making as far as on the field due to the COVID? I saw that Drew Brees has quit licking his fingers cold turkey the last 3 months. Is that something you worked on, or what's going through your mind as far as that goes?
Yeah, it's tough. So there's different things you can do. Obviously, some habits are like bad, you know, and you do that. Some centers do it, you know, and the way they have like these little wipes, these little deals they can put on the ball every play, and these kind of stuff. They have little. We're honestly, Vic, going through that right now. You know, what's that look like? What does that wipe do? What if it's raining and you try that wipe? You know, does it make the ball just fly out of your hand? Because if that's the case, then we can't do that, you know. And so, what if it's in the runner's hand? Does it make it slick in his arm? So, again, this is unseen things. I guess we're the guinea pigs trying to figure it out. So we're trying to figure that out. We all got these little monitors on that as soon as it starts blinking red, you're too close to somebody. So everyone sees it and they start backing away from each other, you know. But how do you do that as a receiver in a corner, you know, in a jam, you know, technique, you know, so we're trying our best, but we're hoping that by the time whoever's in our building, they've been tested so many times and reoccurring that we're hoping that this place is the safest place in all of Las Vegas, you know, and that's what we're kind of trusting and banking on. And so we're doing our best with everything, but there are little things on the field like that we're, you know, trying to stay away when we can. When coach is breaking it down, when he's talking, we're not as close, we're a little farther away. There's little things that we're trying, again, Vic, we're trying our best, you know, and this thing, it's a virus. It can sneak up on anybody, you know, it come from anything. So we're doing our best, but we're trying to figure that out as well.
Last one, Paul.
Hey, Derek, Paul here. So you already hit on, if you didn't think about opting out, you hit on being in the third year of the same offense, and you hit on being in the same town as UNLV. So I'll ask you about the arm sleeve and what exactly that represents to you.
Yeah, that's, you know, everyone has their own opinions about what that is. That, I tried my best, you know, try to think like what would be a cool way to honor Kobe, you know. And this is a personal thing. I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. You know, this is this is for me. And what would be a cool way to honor Kobe Bryant? And he always wore arm sleeve, on his arm. And so I can't wear one on my right arm, so I was like, I wear one on my left arm, And it's really just to honor Kobe. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of players doing that with number changes. I think Slade talked about that. My man Slade talked about that, or a sleeve and things like that. I think you'll see a lot of players just wanting to honor him, because as a kid, I watched every YouTube video. I watched every game. I would tell my dad, by the way he ran down the court, oh, this is going to be a post-up fadeaway. He set him up last time. This is a fadeaway. And it would happen. I just watched everything, and he meant so much to me. And then when I got to know him, I got to talk to him. Then he followed me on Twitter. That blew my mind. That was the day of my life. So to speak. But just getting to know him and talk to him and have conversation with him, just what he meant to me as an athlete. The Mamba mentality is trying to be the best version of yourself every day. And I have a big old poster in my office, or in my weight room now, with that Mamba mentality mantra on it. And it's just a way that I could honor him. And so I wear it all year, and for the only reason to honor him and just what he meant to me just as a kid growing up. And that's the extent of it. I don't care about looking good unless it's for how my wife wants me to look at dinner. I do not care. So it's to honor Kobe and just what he meant to me.
Thank you, everyone.